Next, polarity of molecules and molecular geometry. In this lesson, we are going to look at the polarity of the molecules and how it is illustrated in the 3D level or three-dimensional level. So the steps are the following. We have 5 steps. In drawing drawing the molecular geometry of your molecules. So the first one is determine the central atom of a molecule. The central atom is the least electronegative element. Diba niha ang central atom, kung mag-drawing ta ani or maghimo ta or atong i-illustrate ang imong molecule, mo ni siya ang nasa center, of course, central atom. So mo ni siya ang nasa center. Unsa ang kaning characteristics sa imong central atom? It is the least electronegative element. So, muna siya ang pinakababa og electronegativity value or EN value. Second step is draw the appropriate Lewis dot structure of the molecule. So, in your lower grades, before I think grade 9 or grade 8 or grade 10, you already know how to draw the Lewis dot structure of a certain molecule. So, yung ana lang na siya, no? Unsa man ang nag-represent sa mga dots sa Lewis dot? Diba na kay i-drawing a letter, pag human drawingan nimo siya og mga dot around. Unsa man ang mga dots? Yes, those are your valence electrons. Valence electrons are the electrons found in the outermost shell of your atom. Okay? Ayaw kalimti na siya. So next to step 2, which is drawing the Lewis dot, is counting the number of bonding pairs of electrons and non-bonding pairs or lone pairs around the central atom. So remember, atong tan-awo no pag human na nato og drawing sa imong Lewis dot. Okay? We're going to look at the central atom and then you're going to count kung pila ka buok nga electrons ang nakabond. So you're going to count the bonding pairs, and if na siya lone pair, katubit tong mga electrons nga wala naka-bind or wala dili siya bonded, those are called lone pairs. So katong lone pairs imabuto siyang bilangon. Okay, kay dito man ta mag-base kung unsa ang ihang molecular geometry. Next, for number 4, determine the electron pair orientation using the total number. So again, bilangon nato ang bonding pairs and ang imong lone pairs. After that, we're going to see kung unsa ba siya, kung unsa ang iyang electron pair orientation. And then lastly is name the shape of molecule based on the location of the atoms. So, base sa ato ang electron pair orientation, pag-determine nato ana is we're going to name now the shape of the molecule. So, unsa ba ding mga molecular shapes? So, these are the molecular shapes. Okay? First, we have a linear. Linear is a straight line, of course, and it has an angle of 180 degrees. So, you can see here, naglinya ang imuhang atoms, no? Diri sa illustration akay tulo ka atoms nga naglinya. Okay, as what you can see here, mo ni siya ang ato ang central atom, mo ni siya ang ato ang mga terminal atoms. Ang tawag ana is terminal atoms. Okay? So kaning imong central atom, kasagaran aning linear is naa siya duha ka bonding pairs. Okay? Na siya duha ka bonding pairs. 1 kani siya bonded man and this one is another nga pair for bonded electrons. That means pag naa gani 2 bonding pairs or 2 bonded pairs, therefore you are going to get a linear molecular shape. Okay? How about sa non-linear nga bent? In non-linear bent, kasagaran ani is naakay duha ka-bonded nga pairs and naakay lone pair dinhi naakay duha ka electrons nga wala siya ka-share or wala siya ka-bond. Therefore, you are going to have a non-linear bent. Okay? Di man niha, naakay duha ka lone pairs, ay duha ka isa ka pair naka isa ka lone pair and naakay duha ka bonded pairs. Payingana gani ang imuhang electron pair orientation, ang imuhang molecular shape is non-linear bent. Dibanan ha. Next is trigonal planar. For trigonal planar, you have 3 bonded pairs. 3 bonded pairs. That is why you're going to have this molecular shape, trigonal planar. For for pyramidal, mo siya pyramid dire, naa kay 3 bonded pairs and naa kay 1 lone pair diri sa ibabaw. If ingana gani ang electron pair orientation, then you are going to get a pyramidal. For tetrahedral, you're going to have kasagaran niya. Kasagaran is you're going to have 4 bonded pairs. For square planar, you also have 4 bonded pairs. So what you can see, same with tetrahedral, no? Pero kaning square planar lang is wala siya atom nga repulsive to other atoms. That is why planar ang iyang shape. Okay, most of the time is kaning upat diri nga terminal, kaning yellow gani nga mga molecules. Most of the time kay pare-pareha siya nga molecules. That is why na siya square planar nga pare-pareha molecules, pare-pareha nga atoms. That is why naa siya square planar nga orientation. For trigonal bipyramidal, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bonded pairs. For octahedral, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 bonded pairs. So yung ana siya. Alright, now let us proceed with example number 1. In your module, you have 3 examples, and we are going to discuss the first example, which is to predict the molecular geometry of BCl3. So based on this, we have BCl3, we have 2 types of atoms. We have B for boron and Cl for chlorine. Okay, step 1, we are going to look for the En values of B and Cl. So for B, you have 2.0. For Cl, you have 3.0. What is the purpose of looking for the En values? We are going to look for the En values because we are going to compare which of the 2 atoms is more electronegative and which one is least electronegative. So in this case, for B and Cl, ato makita, ato i-compare, 2.0 is of course lower than 3.0. Therefore, our boron is the central atom because of the rule that the central atom should be the least electronegative atom. Step 2 is we're going to draw the Lewis dot structure. So as what you can see, nanadiri sa tunga ang atong boron. This is your central atom. So it should be at the center. And you have 3 terminal atoms which are all chlorine atoms. Okay, so kung atong tan-awon ang atong periodic table, ang boron kay naa siya atomic number nga 3, which means it has 3 electrons. Okay, so for boron, mo ni siya no 1, 2, and 3, yahang 3 electrons. For chlorine, kung atong tan-awon na siya 7 na atomic number. Therefore, ang yahang electrons kay 7 pud kabuok. So in this case, kaning dots din himo ni siya ang representation sa imuhang electron. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Asang ika-7, ma'am? Dara. Nakabond na siya sa electron sa imuhang boron. So pag makita mo dots sa imuhang Lewis dot structure, muna siya ang mga unbonded nga electrons. Pag makakita kag lines, that means nga nakabond na siya sa electron sa uban nga atom. So in this case, kani nga Cl nakabond na siya sa diri nga electron, kani nga Cl nakabond pod siya dinhi, ang kani nga Cl nakabond pod siya dinhi a. Therefore, if we're going to count, no, ang step nato nga 3 is we're going to count how many bonded pairs and lone pairs for the central atom. In this case, we have boron. So kani bond siya, so 1, kani bonded siya, so 2, kani bonded siya, so 3. Therefore, we have 3 bonded pairs and wala man kay makitaan nga mga tuldok diri sa imong boron, no. That means wala siya lone pairs or lone electrons. Tanan ni electrons nakabond siya. So therefore, the boron has 3 bonded pairs and no lone pairs. Unsa man ang electron pair orientation? So ang electron pair orientation sa boron kay 3 electron pairs. Pag 3 gani ang imong electron pairs, ang imuhang molecular shape is trigonal planar. Therefore, BCl3 is trigonal planar. Let's proceed with example number 2. Predict the molecular geometry of CO2 or carbon dioxide. So we also have two atoms. We have carbon and oxygen. So first step, find the EN values of your C and your O. So ang C na kay 2.5, ang imong O na kay 3.0. Next is compare the two EN values and choose the central atom based on the least electronegative nga atom. Yes, least electronegative nga atom. So as what you can see here, 2.5 is smaller than 3.0. Therefore, carbon is our central atom. Step 2 is we're going to draw the Lewis-Dot structure. So, ang atong C, kung atong tanawon sa atong periodic table, it has an atomic number of 4, while oxygen has an atomic number of 6. Therefore, your carbon has 4 electrons, while your O has 6 electrons. So, if we're going to count, for carbon, you have 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. Diba? And then for oxygen, you have 6. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Asa ang duha, ma'am? Darang duha nakaband na sa imuhang carbon nga electrons. Also, same with the other side. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Karon, step 2. Carbon has 2 bonded pairs and no lone pairs. Tanaw na to itong central atom nga C. Naa siya'y 2 bonded pairs daw. Asya, ha, ma'am, anong na may 2 bonded pairs nga apat man na siya? 1, 2, 3, 4. Always remember this, that double bond or double bonds, kani siya kay counted as 1. Okay, so therefore, naman ka isa ka double bond dere, 1 na siya nga bonded pair. Diri sa pikas na akay double bond, second ni mo nga bonded pair. That is why carbon has 2 bonded pairs, not 4. Clear? Alright, so you have 2 bonded pairs for carbon. So, unsa man ang orientation, ana? So, electron pair orientation for 2 electrons is linear. Remember kaganina akong i-discuss nga katong straight lang ang tulo ka atoms. That is the orientation or the shape of your carbon dioxide. Alright, so the molecular shape of CO2 or carbon dioxide is linear. Mali na ako ang na-illustrate or na-type din nga triangle planar. Wala na ako na-edit. I'm so sorry for that. Linear na siya. Last is predict the molecular geometry of CHCl3. In this case, or in this example, we have 3 types of atoms. We have C, carbon, H, hydrogen, and Cl for chlorine. So, pangitaan po nato ang iyahang EN values no tulo. So, we have ang C is 2.5, Cl is 3.0, H is 2.1. Supposedly, kung mag-follow to sa rule, no, nga ang least electronegative atom, kay mo na siya ang imuhang mahimong terminal atom, dapat H. However, na underlying na rule nga H should always be a terminal atom. Meaning, di siya pwede masentro gyud ang H. Dapat siya, nga nalang siya perminti sa ends or terminals. No? So, di na to na siya i-appeal sa consideration. So, dirita sa carbon and Cl lang mag-compare. So, between the two atoms, Cl or C is least electronegative. That is why our carbon is our central atom. So, step 2 is we're going to draw the Lewis-Dot structure. C again has 4 electrons. That is why we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hydrogen has 1 because its atomic number is 1. That is why na siya 1 din ha nga nakabond na sa imuhang first nga electron sa imong carbon. Cl again has an atomic number of 7. Therefore, it has 7 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, ang 7 nimo nga na electron dinhi is nakabond na siya sa second nga electron sa imong carbon. Same as true with the other Cl nga atoms dinhi, nakabond na siya, di ba? Ang imong mga electrons. That is why if you're going to count the bonded pairs of our central atom, which is C, we have 4 bonded pairs. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, What is the orientation? The electron pair orientation for 4 electron pairs is tetrahedral. That is why, in conclusion, the molecular shape of CHCl3 is tetrahedral. Tetrahedral because na siya repulsion, dili siya square planar, although upat gihapon to siya, pero lahi-lahi man ang ang iyahang molecules, and aside from that, naalagi siya repulsion because of the uneven distribution of your electrons. So, we are going to discuss more of this on the next topics, I guess. Now, you may now proceed with the activities. Kanila yung answeran, what's more, assessment or your post-test, and the last one is additional activities. So please do answer your activities, and I'm going to make another video for our next module, which is all about the properties of molecules, no, polar and non-polar. So that's it for our video for this session. Bye!